Hello everyone, my name is Giovanni Spinella Gonzalez, and this is Coach Flex, which I built on Dialogflow. So a little bit of backstory on Coach Flex. I think it was one of the first few, I think it was the first assignment or a discussion where you gave us 3 test cases, and I saw the exercise one, and I immediately knew I had to do that one, because at that time I was attending physical therapy for some knee and hip issues that I was going through due to running. I was working it out too much, so I attended physical therapy for it. I got a lot of exercises for it. And this assignment was honestly perfect timing because it gave me an idea, or it gave me like a platform to immortalize like all the exercises that I've been doing. So yeah, thank you for that. It was actually really fun project to be working on over the last couple of weeks. And yeah, Coach Flex is kind of meant to resemble the same treatment I went to. The personality that Coach Flex is supposed to replicate is the same one of the physical therapists that were so kind to help me. They were very encouraging. They were adaptive with the exercises. If I said something felt too light or if it felt too heavy for me, they were more than happy to adjust as needed. So that's kind of what I was trying to go after. The 4 intents that I ended up doing were get exercise, modify exercise, recovery tip, and suggest workout. It's kind of supposed to resemble the start to finish between an exercise with getting it, modifying it, suggesting it if you're unsure of what to do, and then as well as the recovery tip for the end. And these are the entities that go along with the intents: duration, equipment, intensity, modifier, and muscle. And yeah, let's go look at the source code. So Dialogflow's fulfillment page was giving me issues, so I decided to place the source code into a VS Code window and just explain it here. So as you can see, each intent is backed by a plain JavaScript object acting as a lookup table. So for my exercise database, you can see all the supported muscles are right here. And for each muscle, if you don't specify a piece of equipment, it's just going to send you to the default exercise. However, if you do specify equipment with it, say you want to do a hip exercise with no equipment, it's going to send you that direction. Same idea for modifiers. You're going to say the muscle. Say in this case you do a hamstring and you want to do something a little bit harder, it's going to send you to that exercise. And side note, Romanian deadlifts are killer. Very good exercise if you want to grow your hamstring and glutes. And we can move over to workouts. So for workouts, pretty much the same idea. Duration supported, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. You say duration, say you want to do 15 minutes. If you don't specify the equipment that you have in hand, it's just going to give you an exercise routine that you can do that should last roughly 15 minutes. Dumbbells, if you say you have dumbbells and you have 15 minutes, it's going to send you to that exercise. So for recovery, same idea. These are all the muscles. Based on the intensity of your workout, say you did hips and it was a really intense workout, it's going to send you to this one. If you didn't specify the intensity on which you worked out, it's going to send you to the moderate exercise by default. So if I had a little bit more time, I'd probably go through every muscle that I do support along with the equipment. It just add more exercises in general. So say for example for inner thigh, right now I currently only support mat and no equipment exercises. But I would probably add like a dumbbell, kettlebell, bench, all the equipment that I do support, just so there's more variety in what the users can work with. And these are the supported messages. So say a user says that they want to work on their elbow, it's going to drop this message along with the message or with the muscles that we do support. That way for their next input, they know the muscles that we do support. So the user can ask about one of these. Same for modifiers, durations, intensities. Same ideas as supported muscles. So for normalize, it's just gonna trim all the space, all the white space. It's gonna lowercase the input or the prompt, and that way there's no mismatch between Dialogflow and then my source code, so it can match properly. So get exercise works with two entities, both muscle and equipment. Muscle is actually required, so if the user doesn't specify muscle at all, it's going to send them to the supported messages, asking them to enter one of these muscles that it does support. If a muscle has a value but not in the exercise database, so for example, if they enter elbow, which is not present here, it's going to send them to that same message that we just showed earlier. So right here, equipment it actually isn't needed, but if they do specify, it's going to try to find that muscle and equipment combo. If it finds it, then it's going to say it. If it doesn't, it's going to bring them to this little message over here, saying that it's not supported, and just going to give them the default exercise for that specified muscle. However, if just muscle is specified, it's going to send them through the happy path and just give them the same as the cells class default muscle for that exercise. So both muscle and modifier are entities that are needed for this one. So if you don't specify either of them, it's going to get caught in either of these two edge cases. If you don't specify a valid one, either muscle or modifier, it's going to get caught in either one of these two. However, if you give out a good muscle and a good modifier, it's going to send it through the happy path. And for this case, get exercise, they're all going to have a match. As you can see, they're all supported here. And each muscle or each supported muscle is going to have a valid modifier that it's going to match to. Which is why there's only one happy path for this one. Let's see, where was it? Down here. Okay, suggest workout. It's going to be a little bit more laid back. You can see duration is required. So as long as you specify valid duration, you should get a valid output. If you don't specify an equipment, it's just going to give you the default. However, if you do specify an equipment, it's going to try to match it. If you can't find it, it's going to give you the default. For recovery tip, muscle is required. Intensity is not, however. Same thing, give a valid one. You can skip through the first two. If intensity is not supported, or if it's given and not supported, it's going to ask to reprompt. If it's not specified, it's just going to give it to the moderate. So moderate is going to be the default value. And this is just mapping it back to Dialogflow. Very worth mentioning that Dialogflow's intent names in the console are case sensitive. So over here, I believe I had it as an uppercase G, uppercase M. And initially, it was not letting me go through. It was driving me crazy. Eventually, I figured out the mismatch. Simple fix, but very frustrating because everything else was working how it was supposed to. And yeah, with that said, let's get right into the testing. So we can go ahead and get started with the get exercise intent. For this one, as you can see, muscle is required and equipment is not. So we can do one with equipment and then do one without equipment. So for this first one, I'm just going to ask for a hamstring stretch. Give me a hamstring stretch. There we go. Just a hamstring stretch. Now we can ask for one with equipment. Give me a quads exercise using a resistance band. Here we go. With equipment. Now, I believe we can also do modify exercise from here. So we'll just do something related to this quads exercise. Ask for something a little bit easier. Give me a quads exercise that's a little bit easier. There we go. Wall sits also do kill, just a side note, but 15 seconds. It's a little bit more doable. And then from here, we can just go to suggest workout. Let's see. We'll just do one with duration and then duration equipment. Suggest something for 10 minutes. There we go. 10-minute exercise routine. Give me something for 10 minutes with resistance bands. Cool. Now we can head over to recovery tip. Cool. And we'll just ask something about just with the muscle, and then muscle with intensity. How do I cool down after working my quads? There we go. And then we'll specify it with intensity. I just did an intense hamstring workout. Any recovery tips? I just did it intense. Same thing, and understood what I was trying to go after. So that concludes the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for an awesome term. I actually really enjoyed making this project. And yeah, have a great summer.